Good morning. Welcome to JP's Morning Brief. Oh wow, had an up. I'm sorry. Had an update on my OBS this morning. Wow. Okay. Well, hey, welcome to JP's Morning Brief. It's James Pierce. It's May 20th. Wow, just a few more days. Wow. So last night was pretty. Wow, I could not believe that, man. That was very encouraging, entertaining, and if you don't know what I'm talking about, wow, just listen just for a few minutes. This was I was looking forward to this for weeks. All right, uh, we're getting spun up here. We've been on the air for a minute and a half. We got people on board, which is good. So click that follow button. Do me a favor, click that follow button. Let's get these numbers back up on this podcast. Hit the like button for the show this morning. And we got one person in the chat besides me. That would be my buddy Ricky. He's looking for some entertainment. Uh, Encourage him. I got women. Before I go any further, Ricky, did you watch the video last night that I sent you on your phone? Let me know, okay? All right. So follow, like, and chat. All right, let's go on America 250 before we get to the rest of this women. I'm gonna write down a note. All right, so I don't forget. America 250. So May 20th, 1776. This is from George Mason. He wrote a proposed Declaration of Rights. All right. So it is that is religion or the duty which we owe to our divine omnipotent creator and manner of discharging it can be governed only by reason and conviction, not by force or violence, and therefore that all men should enjoy the fullest toleration in the exercise of religion according to the dictates of conscience, unpunished and unrestrained by the magistrate, unless under color of religion any man disturb the peace, the happiness, or the safety of society or of individuals, and at the mutual duty of all to practice Christian forbearance, love, and charity toward each other. That was written by George Mason on May 20th, 1776. Really nice. Okay. As you can tell, it's all shaping up. Humvee. Alrighty. So next we have the armament shop. The armament shop. Whether you're looking for your first firearm, upgrading your setup, or need expert service, Jason at the armament shop is Copper's Cove's premier source of all things shooting. Whether browse our wide selection of pistols, rifles, and shotguns backed by top-tier gunsmithing for repairs, along with reloading supplies and professional cleaning to keep your firearm in peak condition. Need a transfer? We make FFL transfers fast, easy, and affordable. Need your CHL? JC can handle those classes, whether in person or online. He has over 3 decades of experience. Visit the armament shop today at 115A West Avenue D in Coppers Cove, or call or text 254-560-2023, or visit www.armamentshop.com. That's www.armamentshop.com. The Armament Shop, your safety, our priority. All right, I'm back. All right, so Ricky didn't answer me yet. Man, okay. Um, so here we go. Iran update. We're still on Project Freedom. We're at the cusp. I mean, like the vice president said yesterday, we're locked and loaded, ready to go. I don't know if Iran thinks we're playing a game or not, but I don't think the president is playing a game, and they may find out really, really soon. All right, so here we go. The President Trump said he will be at the G7 summit. The Ayatollah Khomeini frames war with the U.S. and Israel as a jihad. Russia says it will support the U.S.-Iran negotiations. I don't think we need Russia's help in negotiations. Russia needs to end their war in Ukraine before they can endeavor on anything else. Israeli defense forces are on high alert. The vice president said the U.S. is locked and loaded, ready to go. The president vows a quick go-ahead if peace talks fail, and then Trump vows swift end to the war if it happens. Senator Bill Cassidy, who lost on Saturday in his primary, cowers and votes with Democrats on the War Powers Act, which will be vetoed by President Trump if it even makes it to his desk. The U.S. seizes a sanctioned Iranian tanker in the Indian Ocean. There's been 89 vessels turned back. Hezbollah is reported grooming children to be martyrs. All right, so that is your Iran update for the day. What are we doing like on time? We're at 6:37. We're doing pretty good. Brent crude oil, as of about 45 minutes ago, it was at $109.06 a barrel. West Texas Intermediate is at $102.21 a barrel. And Dow Jones closed yesterday at $49,363.88. That was down 322.24. Now, before I go any further, okay, just remember, if you're listening to me, and I'm sorry if I haven't reiterated this lately, okay, you got Brent crude and West Texas Intermediate, okay? Brent crude is North Sea crude oil. That's north in the North Sea, north of Great Britain. That is the international standard for trading. All right. There's several different types of combinations of oil that comes out of the ground, right? Or fossil fuels, whatever you want to call it, right? And then you have West Texas Intermediate, which is a light sweet crude oil that we bring up out of the ground in West Texas and in New Mexico, and it's the easiest refined oil there is. It's generally cheaper than what Brent crude oil. That's why you see a difference in prices. Just wanted to let you know that, okay? All right. So the Texas primary runoff. We have to cover this before we get into the rest of it. All right. We're in the middle of it. We're on day 3. It runs from 18 to the 22nd of May from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. That's Monday through Friday. And on this coming Tuesday, May 26th, the day after Memorial Day, from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. I did mention some wrong stuff over the last couple of days. If you're early voting in Coryell County, Texas, where I live at, polling places, the Early Vote Center in Coppers Cove and the Early Vote Center in Gatesville. Those are only 2 places, right? And then on Election Day, the runoff is going to be on May 26th, and it's going to be at the Gatesville Civic Center and at the Gatesville Early Vote Center, and then at the Coppers Cove Early Vote Center, and at the Coppers Cove Civic Center. Okay, got it. All right. So the Texas runoff primary, this is who I am supporting for U.S. Senator, recently endorsed from President Trump, Ken Paxton for U.S. Senate. And then we have for Texas Attorney General, I'm supporting Mays Middleton. For the Texas Railroad Commission, I'm supporting Beau French. For Court of Criminal Appeals, Place 3, I'm supporting Allison Fox. For Coryell County Judge, I'm supporting Rob Irwin. For for Coryell County Commissioner, Precinct 2, Scott Weddle. And then I'm going to throw in another one, Coryell County Commissioner, Precinct 4. I'm going to go for Justin Smith. That's who I'm supporting for this election. All right. So that's for Texas. And we're going to continue on with Texas. All right. So Trump backs Paxton in Texas Republican Senate showdown with Cornyn, which is, they're saying, is the most expensive primary for the United States in history. All right. President Trump is finally taking sides in a contentious and costly Republican Senate primary showdown in Texas between longtime Senator John Cornyn and State Attorney General Ken Paxton. The president, on Tuesday, in a highly anticipated announcement, endorsed Paxton, a MAGA champion. The president's extremely potent endorsement came 1 week before the runoff between Cornyn and Paxton in right-leaning Texas. Ken is a true MAGA warrior who has always delivered for Texas and will continue to do so in the United States Senate, Trump wrote in a social media post. The two heated rivals topped the crowded field of contenders in an early March primary, but since no one cleared the 50% threshold, the nomination race heads into overtime with the runoff on May 26. So, like I said, we're going to get more into this later on. Okay? Hold on just a second here. All right. So, I was reading the this Senate race is unbelievable. People were talking about Thomas Massie and Ed Gowring in their primary contest in the House, like $33 million. These guys have already dropped close to $150 million in just the Senate primary. Unbelievable, right? Okay, so three things. If you're listening to Karl Rove, you're crazy. Don't listen. He was competent in the early 2000s with George Bush. He isn't competent now. He's a disruptor. He's an old way of doing things. He doesn't support President Trump or anyone who is associated with him. Plain and simple. All right. These vicious campaign ads we see coming from the Cornyn campaign is despicable. All it does is discourage people from going to vote. That's all. And it's not doing anyone any good. And it's causing Ken Paxton to retaliate with negative ads. But his isn't even anywhere close. You'll see these PACs cutting these ads for John Cornyn, and then you'll see John Cornyn with his gray-haired wife and look like grandma and grandpa standing on their lawn. That we fully support this message. This BS. Come on, get over it. So what I read in the Texas scorecard this morning, if you really want to hear from Michael Sullivan, is, where is it? Okay, so third paragraph in on the Texas scorecard this morning. Paxton celebrated the endorsement Tuesday afternoon, while Cornyn responded with the discredited theory that voters should remain should focus on electability in November rather than advancing their political agenda. The incumbent senator then canceled many of his remaining campaign events. So, does that mean he's respecting the wishes of the president, or is it going to get even more despicable campaigning? And are they going to pour tens of millions of more dollars between now and Tuesday to uh, dirty up the entire campaign atmosphere? Because you got James Tellerico ready to jump into the fray, and he is fatally flawed, and he should be no problem beating by either Cornyn or Paxton. I don't care. I heard Brian Kilmeade on Fox this morning. You have another New Yorker. I mean, I like him a lot. I respect him. He's really good. He knows his stuff. He doesn't understand Texas. And that's one thing you should understand, okay, is Texas itself. So Ken Paxton is going to win on Tuesday. It just depends. Is it going to be close or is it going to be spread out like about 10 points? We will see. All right. Oh, yeah, by the way, the president's going to be at the U.S. Coast Guard Academy this morning doing their commencement speech. See, I need to read my notes. Next up, President Trump. President Trump backed a former Navy SEAL named Ed Galrain and blew out of the water, like I was just telling you about, Thomas Massie by almost 11 points. I just got a Fox News alert come across my notifications on my computer about it. President Donald Trump on Tuesday scored another victory in his revenge campaign against GOP critics, further flexing his grip on the Republican Party after a string of primary wins in recent weeks. Trump backed Al Galrain, a former Navy SEAL from 1983. Okay, he's one of the early guys. And Kentucky dairy farmer, he made that adamant last night. Defeated the president's longtime antagonist, Representative Thomas Massie of Kentucky's 4th congressional district. Galrain's nearly 10-point victory represents a major win for Trump's political operation and pro-Israel allied groups who spent aggressively to unseat the sitting lawmaker. Thomas Massie, last night, when he was doing his concession speech, said he tried to call Galrain to tell him congratulations, and he said evidently they weren't taking calls in Tel Aviv. You know, the disdain for defeat. No, when I've lost 2 political campaigns in my life. Okay, each time I was very appreciative and humble and called the person that defeated me and conceded and said, congratulations. If you need anything, let me know. All right. And I meant it. You have people here, man, they get beat and they take it to the grave. And this is unbelievable, right? Unbelievable. I mean, why would you even say something like that? Because you got that power and you think you're egotistical and you have that above the people that you serve, and you're not really serving them. You expect them to serve you, which is wrong. When you get that kind of attitude in you, you might as well just resign and go home. All right. Another thing about Ed Galrain, he was, I did not know this, but he entered the campaign 15 weeks ago. He filed at the last minute and campaigned and won. That sounds a lot. That says a lot about what kind of person he is. And I heard him on TV last night, and he wasn't in Tel Aviv. He was in Hebron, Kentucky, I believe it was, on a very staticky cellular video circuit, right? They need to do something about satellite reception in northern Kentucky. Maybe put the receiver on a cow and let it walk around as you're trying to get milk from it. All right, that's a joke. Another win for President Trump. All right, hold on. All right, so another win, major win for President Trump in Kentucky was the race to succeed Mitch McConnell. So, Mitch McConnell, after 40 years in the United States Senate, the turtle decided he wanted to quit racing the hare and just retire, right? Um, so it sparked a campaign to replace him, right? You had two people. You had Daniel Cameron, good guy, but he was the chosen replacement for Mitch McConnell to take his place. Mitch McConnell is not a really good person that is dependable for the president. He's always thumbing his nose at the president. Another one of those guys. I'm the senator from 40 years, and I know what I'm talking about. Nobody can tell me what to do. That kind of person. He recruited Daniel Cameron to take his place. He used to be the Attorney General for the state of Kentucky. He ran against Andy Beshear and lost for governor. Now he wanted to run for U.S. Senate. And last night he lost to Andy Barr. Andy Barr is a congressman from the 6th Congressional District in Kentucky. Decided he wants to be a U.S. Senator. He bludgeoned Daniel Daniel Cameron by the point of he knocked out. Okay, there's not even going to be. Oh wait a minute, I almost misspoke. There's 11 person. And they Fox News is calling it a bar fight last night. So I'm going to read this so we don't run out of time. In one of the most crowded Republican Senate primaries in the country, President Trump's thumb on the scale provided the difference maker. Congressman Andy Barr came out on top of an 11-person bar fight. Never heard of a political campaign compared to a bar fight. Teeing up a showdown in November to replace retiring Senator Mitch McConnell, a one-time turned a thorn in Trump's side. Though it's a race overshadowed by another contest where Trump is the driving factor in the state, it is still significant, given that Barr and his Democratic opponent will be at the forefront of change in the political status quo in the bluegrass state. Whoever comes out on top in November will replace McConnell, the longest serving Republican leader in the Senate history, who has been a political force and polarizing figure in his decades in the upper chamber. And there's nothing wrong with Mitch McConnell, okay? He's a very strong man, strong-willed man. He's a polio survivor, but he's very intelligent, very strong, very knowledgeable. But it's time for him to go, all right? Uh, But like so many races during this and previous cycles in the Trump era, the president was the main factor on the Republican side, and Barr's bid for the upper chamber, after serving 7 terms in the House, was spurned by late endorsement by President Trump earlier this month. We did have a lead before the endorsement, Barr said during the campaign event on Monday. Our lead has skyrocketed since then in the polling that we're looking at, and we don't take anything for granted. I think he won by like 60 percentage points or something like that. I don't see a breakdown on it, but he won by like 60 percentage points against Daniel Cameron and the 9 other people that were behind Daniel Cameron that came in like single digits and stuff. Daniel Cameron had like 20 points on his, I mean, he got bludgeoned, but then the other guy behind him didn't even show up. It was like they were auditioning for future Republican races, so people know who they are. And then we have the bad news. We're at 6:55, so I don't have all this. Hold on, let me do a quick search here. Hope everyone's doing good. As I'm typing this, if you have not clicked the like button for this episode, please give me a thumbs up. And if you're not a follower, please um, please click the follow button for Texas 35. Okay, so just a second. Okay, so what I was going at is in the Texas 35 congressional district, there's a runoff in the Republican side and the Democrat side. Okay, we're talking about on the Democrat side. There's this girl. Her name is Maureen Galindo, and she's facing off with Johnny Garcia. Right? They're both going to get beat anyway. But Maureen Galindo, and when you really don't want to bring bad news on yourself, but this is what she said: a House Democrat candidate from Texas is fielding criticism from some of her own party after she pledged to send American Zionists to a facility currently being used to detain undocumented immigrants. On an Instagram post last week, Maureen Galindo said that she would turn the Carnes ICE detention center into a prison for the American Zionists and former ICE officers for human trafficking. It will also be a castration processing center for pedophiles, which will probably be most of the Zionists. Okay, I'll talk about this later on. We're almost at 6:57. She says Galindo is a sex therapist and a housing activist and is running for Texas 35th against Johnny Garcia in a runoff. Do me a favor. You're either going to go over to the Republican side. If you're a Republican, vote in the Republican primary, knock this out of the park. You have a choice between Carlos de la Cruz and then Juan Lujan. Okay? That's crazy. All right, and then Hakeem Jeffries, him and his rant. We'll get more into that at 12 o'clock Central. But he's going. He said he's going to break the spirit of the Republicans. Yeah. Okay. That and 25 cents may give you a little bit of a cup of coffee. We're going to win. We're definitely going to win this. All right. So what are we at? 6:58. All right, as we are signing off for this edition of JP's Morning Brief, thank y'all very much for tuning in today. We'll be at this again tomorrow morning. We have the JP8 report at noon Central. Please come in. I go more into detail plus more. All right. I really appreciate everyone for tuning in. Do I have time to set up a raid? I don't think I do. Well, let's see. Yeah, I do. I can do this. I'm getting pretty quick on the mouse. When you're a one-man show, you got to do everything by yourself. All right. So I will see you. Just turned 7 o'clock. I will see everyone at noon. I'm rating the vents, and I will see y'all at the 12 o'clock hour Central Time, okay? So this is James Pierce. I'll catch you on the flip side. I'm out. The raid has been initiated in 9 seconds.